Do you find yourself overwhelmed by the thought of making a career transition? I've been there and I understand the challenges you face. That's why I created the Career Compass, the ultimate guide for high achieving corporate women to make career transitions with ease. The Career Compass breaks down the decision making process into 5 clear steps, helping you make savvy, empowered career decisions. Head over to KarenFreeland.com/career compass right now and download this invaluable resource. It's completely free and will get you on the path to a more fulfilling career. Go to KarenFreeland.com/career compass now. Welcome to Rock Your Reinvention, where I help high achieving career women like you get unstuck, make your corporate exit strategy, and successfully transition to your next chapter. Hi, I'm your host, Karen Freeland, a certified life coach and corporate exit strategist. Whether you want to start a business, become a speaker, or something else, I'm here to give you the tools and strategies to shift your mindset, build your confidence, and take bold actions so you can rock your reinvention. Ready? Let's go. Welcome back. Today, I am bringing you a tutorial style episode. I'm so excited because we've had just an overwhelming response to the Career Compass that launched at the beginning of August 2024. Depends on when you're listening to this, so I want to make sure I throw in that date. It is clear to me that women are considering these career pivots more than ever. And it makes sense, right? There's a lot changing. Inflation is through the roof. Right now, we're in an election season, so it seems like there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. Companies are continuing to lay people off in droves. So this career pivot could be on your own terms, or it may be a result of circumstances for some of you. And what I'm also seeing is that women are feeling more disconnected from their friends and families than ever. They're burnt out, overworked, undervalued, and they're starting to question their purpose. Like, what's it all for? Is this really the life that I signed up for? Most of us are like, no, this is not bringing me happiness and fulfillment. So what I want to do is help give you the pathway, the blueprint for choosing your next career move with confidence. If you haven't downloaded your copy of the Career Compass, I want you to do that right now. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And that is exactly what we're going to walk through today. So you want to go to KarenFreeland.com/career compass right now so you can follow along. Now, before we dig in, there's just a couple of tips that I want to impart on you to make this easier for yourself. The first one is don't self-edit. What does that mean? You'll start talking yourself out of whatever it is that you want to put down as we're going through this. So, for example, maybe you have a strong desire inside of you to own a farm and become a homesteader. Great. Write it down. Capture that. But what typically happens is in your head, you're like, oh, wait, how would that really be feasible? I don't know that much about cows or blah, blah, blah. Where am I going to get the money for a land? And you just start thinking of all these reasons why you shouldn't write that down. I want you to ignore that. Okay. I want you to ignore all those what ifs and hows in your brain and just write down whatever it is that comes to mind through this process. Okay. I really want you to honor yourself today. The second thing I want you to remember is that nothing is written in stone, okay? Everything that happens here in the Career Compass stays between you and the Career Compass and me if you want to invite me into the party, okay? You don't have to share this with anybody else. And you don't even have to do any of these things that you write down if you don't want to. We are just in exploration mode right now. So I want you to have a little fun and enjoy it. Don't feel any pressure to make changes right at this moment. We're just getting our thoughts down on paper so that we can examine them with a new lens. but we don't want to leave it in our head. Okay. And tip number 3 is to be truthful. Trust your intuition. Okay. You are not trying to get a right answer here. And I use air quotes around the word right. You're trying to get your answer for this season of life. And the more honest you are with yourself, the better the career compass will be able to guide you. Okay? So I really want you to sit with that today. No self-editing. Take off the pressure because nothing is written in stone, and be truthful with yourself. Be as honest as you can be, okay? So we're in the career compass now, and we're going to be looking at pages 7 through 10. And starting on page 7, we are looking at step 1 of a 5-step process. This is our key criteria identification. This is where you're going to honestly map out what's most important to you. What do you value? What factors are essential to your job satisfaction and fulfillment? What types of less conventional criteria could make a big impact on your happiness? And you might be thinking, I don't know, Karen. Don't worry. We're going to explore this together. Now, before we do that, I want you to look at that quote on page 7. It's from Stephen Covey, and it says, "Live your life by a compass, not a clock." What does that mean to you? Live your life by a compass, not a clock. You know, I hear clients say things all the time like, I should be further along by this age. I thought I'd be making $300,000 by now. I should have a director title by now, et cetera, right? The list goes on. But what if you lived your life by a compass instead of that constant timeline, like the clock is ticking and you have to be a certain place at a certain time? I want you to think, are you going in the right direction? Are you headed towards the right things? And you may want to pause this episode right now and journal on that a little bit and get clear on what it would mean for you if you could live your life by a compass instead of a clock. Now, when you're ready to keep going, we're on page 8, and we're going to dive into exercise 1, which is identifying core values. Okay, this is the first way that we are going to come up with our key criteria, and that is by looking at core values. So you're going to list out all of your values in the career compass, all of the criteria that is most important to you. Go ahead, just brain dump it all. And here's the thing, if you're struggling, if you start to write things down and you get 2 or 3 things down and you're like, I don't know, what do I value? I want to challenge you to get to at least 10 things at this stage. Really push yourself to come up with 10 things that you value. And if you need some inspiration, I am going to share my 10 values, but you can also see a list on page 30 of the Career Compass workbook. And you will see several examples of different values that you can consider. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong, but these are just things that you can explore. So let me share mine while you do that. My values that I initially wrote out when I was thinking about leaving corporate and I went through this exercise were family, authentic connection, faith, independence, freedom, and that freedom was really time and location freedom, empowering others, fun and laughter, balance, charity, fitness, resilience, and health. Okay, those were all the things that I wrote down. So you may want to pause the episode right now and go fill this out. That's what I would recommend. Like, make this a working session for yourself and write down all of your values. And if you have 20 or 30 things, cool, no problem. Okay. If you have 70 or 80, you can't value all those things. So maybe, if you've got like 30, you've probably hit your max. Okay. Now, if you've gone ahead and listed out your values in that top section, I want you to come back and look at those and see if there's any that you need to group together. So, for example, when I was looking at my list, I was like, you know what? Fun and laughter, they go together, right? I don't see them as separate things. So I just combined those into one value of fun and laughter. And I felt the same way about independence and freedom. To me, they really were just two different ways to say the same thing. And so I categorized those together, and I did the same thing with health and fitness. The other things, family, faith, authentic connection, those all felt like standalone things. And so I left them separate. And so after you have a chance to go through and group some, you probably will notice that your list is a bit shorter. And that's going to bring us into step 2. That is narrowing down your list to your top 5. Now, for this, you don't have to rank them. You don't have to put them in any particular order. We just want to know, what are your top 5, okay? So for me, that brought me to family, faith, independence/freedom, empowering others, health, and fitness. Okay, those were my top 5 priorities when I did this list. And so now I want to give you some time to work on narrowing yours down. Okay, so go ahead and just pause this and take a look at your list and break it down into your top 5. Okay, congratulations. Well done. You've completed the first exercise. And whether you realize it or not, you gained some clarity on what you value most in life. And I bet for some of you, you're looking at this going, dang, I know exactly what's out of alignment. I know that some of these values are being violated right now in my current career situation or, in your life situation, and that there's something that you want to do to remedy that. But for a second, we're just going to set that to the side and we're going to move in to tackling exercise number 2. And this is going to be on page 9 of the Career Compass. This is where we're ranking the key priorities in your life. Okay, what does that mean? Well, that means looking at the factors that are essential for you to thrive. Okay, because we're not trying to survive. We don't play that game here. There's plenty of people out there who are like, oh, I just got to survive. I'm like, no, screw that. I'm not trying to just survive. Life is way too short. I want to thrive. So, what do you need to thrive? Does the organization that you're looking at offer personal growth opportunities? Does it get you closer to a longer-term goal? Does it offer increased financial stability or more time with family? And these things are just ideas. So, for example, if money isn't important to you, then you probably aren't going to list something financial related. Or maybe instead of increasing salary, it's like, look, I just need my salary to stay roughly the same, right? I could even decrease it by $20K and I'd still be fine, right? But being able to get real about those things and what priorities you have in your life are going to help give you more guidance as you set your path for your next career move. Now, if you're still wondering, oh, I don't know what my priorities are, page 32 has some items for you to consider, but I don't want these ideas to constrain you, okay? Really tap into your intuition. After you write something down on your list, I want you to stop and ask yourself, is this true for me? So, for example, I would say, is this true for Karen? Because I really want to challenge myself that the things on my list are coming from me. So I'm going to walk you through what I had on my list. I had long-term career growth potential. There needs to be room to grow vertically and manage a larger team. I want more P&L management to develop my financial acumen and skills. I want to be closer to my family so that I have help with the kids. I need more manageable hours, no more weekends and nights. I want a job with more creativity. I want something that gives me impact. I really need to see how my work is contributing to society. I want remote work so that I don't have to commute, or I at least need something closer to the office that only takes me 20 minutes to get to. And I really want to find something with alignment with my values. My current company isn't a mission that I can really get behind. Okay, those were the things that I came up with for my key priorities in life. Again, don't let this sway you, right? Just because I have it on my list doesn't mean you need it on your list. It may just get you thinking, though. So now we're going to narrow it down to the top 5 again, okay? Because we've got a big list, but we really want to know, what are the top 5 things? And so I went back to that question. Is this true for Karen? And you know what? A few of them, they weren't. It was what I was conditioned to say, what I thought that I should put first. So for example, more P&L management to develop my financial acumen and skills. I don't give a crap. Sorry, too blunt. I really didn't. But it was something that so many people around me kept saying, Karen, you need to work on your financial acumen. Karen, I'm like, I don't care. That's not important to me. I don't want to know how to run a P&L. All I want to know is how to run my own business. Okay? I didn't quite know that at that moment, but now I can clearly see that wasn't a priority for me, right? So I have to ask myself, long-term career growth, I want to grow vertically and manage a larger team. Is that really that important to me? Why? Why do I feel I need to manage a larger team? For what? And I was able to catch myself and go, you know what? This is just what I've been told I'm supposed to do. I'm following all the other women in my company, and this is what they're trying to achieve. So I guess I better try to achieve the same thing. Sometimes we don't realize how conditioned we are until we pause to really reflect. So I was able to get my list down to my top 5, which was number 1, I want something that allows me to be more creative. I was craving creativity. Number 2, it's got to have manageable hours. No more weekends and nights. That's non-negotiable for me. Number 3, I really wanted to figure out a way to be closer to family to have help with the kids. Number 4, impact. I've got to be able to see how my work is contributing to society, and it's got to be remote because I want to be around for the kids and I don't want to have to commute over an hour for another moment. Right? Those were the things that ended up becoming my top priorities. So take a moment now to figure out your top priorities and then come on back. And once you've done that, let's celebrate again because you have another piece of insight that's going to guide your decision. Bravo. I would clap, but it'd probably be really loud in the microphone. So just know I'm air clapping for you over here. Keep going. We have one more exercise that I want to review during today's episode to help give you the clarity that you need. And that one's going to be on page 10. This is exercise 3. And this is where we do some out-of-the-box thinking. We want to look at some criteria that maybe you hadn't considered before. What are some of the less conventional things that could impact your career satisfaction? And I know these probably aren't on the tip of your tongue, and this was one of the hardest areas for me to fill out. But if we push ourselves and we allow ourselves to just tap into our intuition, then we are going to be able to come up with some things. I promise you that. Now, I'm just going to throw out some ideas. It could be the desire to homeschool your kids. Or maybe you really want time in the morning to wake up without an alarm and then go out in your garden and spend time before you have to get online and start your day. Maybe you really want exposure to a specific industry or a vendor. Or you want something that has a profit share arrangement. So, for example, I have one client and she works inside of someone else's business. They do all the marketing. She gets the clients, but then she gives a profit share back to the business for doing all the marketing and bringing her the clients, right? Whatever it is, right? There's all kinds of out of the box stuff that you might be like, ooh, if I had that would make my next career move or this job so much more satisfying. I would love that. So I'll share mine with you and then you can pause and fill yours out. I had more autonomy. I want to work somewhere where leadership actually trusts the middle management and empowers them. I wanted there to be a strong women's ERG, which was an employee resource group, right? Something that I could be active in because I've always been active when I was in corporate jobs in those types of organizations. And so that would be important to me if my next career move was going to be into another company. I wanted unlimited PTO. I wanted more free time so I could volunteer and focus on my faith. And I wanted to be able to leave a legacy. And for me, that meant writing a book, something that I could leave behind that the world would go, yep, there was a person here once upon a time and her name was Karen Freeland. And we can debate whether I really needed to do that or not. But at this point, remember, we're not self-editing. We're not asking ourselves questions whether, is that smart? Is that ridiculous? Is that whatever? We don't care at this point, okay? So just get it all down on paper. And those were the 5 out-of-box criteria that I came up with. So go ahead and take a moment to pause and fill yours out. Now, once you've done that, we're going to do the same thing we did before, which is narrow it down to the top 5. And you might be like, Karen, I only have 2. And that's okay. Because the first time I did this, I had 3. So don't overthink it either. If you only have 3 or 4, leave it. That's fine. You don't have to have 5, right? But if you have 10, we got to break that list down to what is your top 5. I was also going to say you don't want to overthink this because you might be tempted to worry if, unlimited PTO, should that actually be in, a different section like values or my life priorities? Don't worry about it. This isn't that serious, right? As long as it's down on paper and it's in one of those buckets, that's what we need, right? We just want to make sure we've captured it. So don't sweat it. Don't worry like, oh no, did Karen envision this would be in a different section? This is your career compass, okay? So we can make it whatever you want or need it to be. Wow. Congratulations, okay? Because in under 20 minutes, you just completed step 1 of the career compass. Woohoo! I am so proud of you for sticking with this and following through because I know it can be tempting. It can be easy to throw your hands up and just walk away, but not you because you're an action taker and you're ready to make that change. And here's what I know. You cannot make savvy career decisions from a place of power without putting in the work. And you did it. Because otherwise you just end up in a job and for the first 6 months, you're like, this is great. And then the honeymoon period ends and you're right back where you started. Like, this sucks. This is more of the same. What was I thinking? And now you're looking for your next career move again. And I don't want that for you. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to go back, reflect on everything you just did. Look at it over the next couple of days. See if there's anything else you want to add or something else you want to change out. I always say trust your gut, but look, sometimes upon further reflection, new things come to light. We begin to trust ourselves more. We get more comfortable with looking at the possibilities. And so I want to encourage you to just treat this as a little bit of a living, breathing document for the next few days and make any edits or tweaks that you need to. Don't erase anything. Just add and move, okay? Because we don't want to lose a thought. You may come back to it. And then I want you to come back here next week because I'm going to walk you through step 2 of weighing your criteria. So this is where the rubber starts to meet the road a little bit and we get even clearer on how this is going to shape your career decision, okay? Now, if any of you are like, oh, Karen, just help me out. I can't wait for another week. I want to invite you to hop on a call to discuss what you've done so far and review the next steps with you personally. You can book a complimentary call right now in my Calendly. I'm going to drop the link in the notes so that I can be here to support you and walk you through this step by step, okay? 30 minutes, you and me, one-on-one. So if you want to take me up on that offer, go click the link in the notes below and I will see you on a call. If not, I'll see you right back here next week to go through step 2 of the career compass. And if by some chance you got to the end of this podcast and you still have not downloaded the Career Compass, go over to KarenFreeland.com right now /career-compass and go get it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're inspired to take action by committing to one of the tips or strategies we talked about in today's episode. If you want more accountability and support, I've got your back. Book a complimentary Empowered Exit Strategy call today. Visit KarenFreeland.com to learn more and book your 45-minute session. Until next time, stay fabulous.